There are so many things to do other than simply showing love. Grace and peace, everybody. Welcome to Sabbath School Study Group. This is part 4 of our 5-part series. In this study, we want to look at the idea of, above all, love one another. We talked about the love one another part, but in this study, above all. Above all of what? Well, there's a lot of all when it comes to the alternative or the things to focus on that can distract us from the very simple idea, or I should say, the simple power of being loving. Remember in Luke chapter 10, where Jesus was at a dinner and Martha was upset because her sister Mary was not serving and cooking and hostessing like she was. Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful, and Mary hath chosen that good part, which shall not be taken away from her. There's a word that Jesus uses, and he says careful. And in our culture, careful has a positive connotation because when you're careful, it means you're watching out, you're being diligent, you're not being reckless. But in this instance, that's not what he was talking about. He was talking about careful in the sense of being full of care. Careful. So many cares that all those dishes, those proverbial dishes in her face, they blocked her view to the deliverer who was sitting in her living room. Jesus was there. And all the things that Mary had done in her life and all the mistakes that she had made, they were all in a distant memory compared to the one thing she was doing that her sister wasn't. And that is that she was showing love to Christ by following, even sitting at his footsteps. Hey everybody, if what you're hearing is a blessing, glory to God. Be sure to hit that like button. And of course, let's stay in touch. You can do that just by clicking subscribe to the channel. And not only is this study here, you can go to the website where there are videos, thousands of videos just like this, changeministry.org. And then finally, the only thing better than being screen to screen is face to face. We'd love to come to your church, your school, or group, even at our own expense if necessary. So to get that started, all you have to do is send us an email, and that email address is contact@changeministry.org. Now let's look over here in Mark chapter 4. And in this story, this is a parable actually that Jesus is sharing where he talks about the good seed, the gospel, and the different circumstances that can choke out that word. Well, these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lusts of other things entering in choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful. Please note that this is not an absence of truth. It's not an absence of what is right, but cares can choke out. It's why we're saying and reminding ourselves, above all, love one another, because that all that we're trying to be above, it can choke out that very simple act of being kind, of being patient, of showing love. And that gospel, when that gospel gets choked out, what can actually grow up in its place is this weed of self-righteousness, or the weed of self-justification, or the weed of just self. And it's not Christ. Remember Luke 21, where we are warned to take heed, be careful even. Now, this is the good careful, okay? Be careful lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and the cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. It's good to know that we'll be able to stand before the Son of Man when we are kneeling, when we are following, resting at the feet of the Son of Man. Knowing that Jesus tells us so many things that are good, and there's so many things that we do as Christians that are profitable. Don't let those things ever make us forget what Jesus has done. He loves us. And it's why we love others. It's the reason, the driving force for all these other things that we do, so that love always stays at the front. Even when it's sometimes that engine that's driving, it's not seen, but if it's not there, you can't go anywhere. Let's love each other. It doesn't take a lot of money. It may even take time, but whatever it takes, it pales in comparison to what he gives.